everybody, welcome to Emily Kate Made This. I am Emily Kate and I'm coming to you from Berlin in Germany. Welcome to my knitting slash sewing slash general crafty YouTube channel. I mostly talk about knitting, probably more often vintage knitting, but a little bit of vintage knitting machine talk, a little bit of vintage, just a bunch of all the things. Some vintage china. Thank you to my neighbour who gave me this. It has been quite a while since I recorded. I went down big rabbit hole of mending, fixing, sorting, trying to suss out, and you may, if you watch my last video, see something you saw before. Thank you to everybody who commented on that video, throwing your ideas at me and helping. I was nervous to put that video out because I thought it could be misconstrued, misread as complaining, but actually I love having to fix stuff and figure stuff out, and I'm never sure if I come across on camera as how I'm actually feeling or meaning, but lots of you gave me so many good ideas which showed me that you did understand, so that's very nice. And gave me some tips. I'm going to show you three finished objects that were supposed to be one dress. Okay, number one. I showed you last time this failed dress, and I say this, I never actually showed it to you. I was so horrified by this creation I had made that I never showed you the dress either on me or hanging up anywhere, so I'll try and put the picture that I'm pretty sure I have here to show you what it looked like. On my body, I absolutely hated it. Never ever hated anything that much in my life. I did try to turn the top part into a top. I think it was mostly successful. I'll try and stand up. I'm always having issues here because there's a big plant on the floor behind me and I can't move. Hopefully you could see that there. So obviously it's still beige, it's obviously still a horrendous colour, but I just love this colourwork so much and I didn't want it to go to waste, and I did consider turning it into something like a cushion cover or I don't know, like anything else. I also considered dyeing it, but I wasn't sure how the green dye would take to that, and I just figured it's not worth this drama. Just turn it into a t-shirt. If you wear it, you wear it. If you don't, you can give it to somebody else. So I made it. I feel like I've just launched into this without any proper introduction. But I tried to make this original horrible beige colour into a lovely oatmeal coloured jumper for my husband. Alas, Alpaca and vintage patterns and knitting machines and gauge, they just don't get on, and it was a total fail. So instead of this structured nice man garment, I made this drapey beige thing. If you want to, I'm selling it well. If you want to hear more about it, I talked about it more in detail in my last episode, but it basically didn't work, so I thought I'd make it into a dress for me. But the sleeves all went wrong and nothing looked good in the slightest. So I thought, what is my favourite thing to wear? 1950s tea. So ta-da, I did that. It's not quite 1950s because I made it more like a boxy fit. I didn't think I'd rip out everything except for the colourwork, so oh, my voice is going already. I should really not talk so loudly. Okay, I will try and not talk so loudly. The colourwork section, I used a Swedish pattern book and plucked out some random patterns from it and then put them together and used my vintage knitting machine from the 50s to make the colourwork. It was not as relaxing as I hoped it would be. It took a lot of brain power. I'm really pleased with the results, but it was very nerve-wracking because basically you can't see what's going on. You don't know if you're doing the pattern correct or not because you can only see the back of the pattern. And it's not until you get a decent enough section that you could even look behind. I did try this mirror technique, like using a mirror and putting it behind, but it didn't work. I couldn't see anything. So if you drop a stitch or you miss something or you've gone a stitch over, you won't know until you've done it. Then you have to rip it all out. So the drop stitches were an issue. There are several places where the stitches didn't catch, so I had to duplicate stitch them in. Some of them I missed. There's one somewhere here. So there's just a hole now. But I don't think anyone's going to be that close to me. So I am really happy that I was able to salvage it into something that I have and will wear. I would probably wear it under a dress, normally, over a dress, but the sun just came out spontaneously, so I just launched myself around this apartment trying to throw on clothes and put my wet hair up into some form of hairstyle. And I'm now plonked in front of the window, taking in the sunshine so I can record. If you've ever been in Berlin in November, you'll know it's not known for sunshine. It is typically grey. So now you can see it in all its beige glory, and I am very happy with it. Yeah, wow, that quickly just spun from... I was trying to say I would usually wear it with a dress, but it's because I just ran around really quickly and threw it over a t-shirt. That's why you can see my t-shirt underneath. Normally I would make more of an effort. But I am wearing it with my knitted skirt. I love this skirt. Now, the skirt part, speaking of skirts, I was going to turn it into a pillowcase or cushion cover or embroider something on it. I thought about over dyeing it, but for now it's temporary stage unless I bond with it. I'm keeping it as an underskirt. You can't really see it. It's so unattractive that I will not be putting it on. I might put it on under something and then you can see, but imagine like a nude, very unflattering, tight piece of clothing. It's that. If you weren't here on the last episode, I'll just briefly catch you up because maybe you've forgotten. It has been 3 weeks if you did watch it. When I took this off of the machine to adjust it to turn it into a dress from being a jumper, you can see the exact line all the way across from where I picked it up and put it back on my machine, and the stitches are not twisted. It's just so obvious. And yeah. Then obviously the beige, and it's like a mermaid tail almost. It just kind of does this, like a tulip perhaps, which is not flattering on me, and I don't love it. In my head I imagined this like flowy dress, and it didn't turn into that. But I did think I could put it under all my skirts in the winter because I always struggle with cold legs, but I love wearing my circle skirts, and I have wool tights, but they really just, they do nothing. I don't understand why, but I'm incredibly cold all the time. Like my legs are always cold. When I go outside, I'm just so cold. And I thought this could be a great layer because I can have my tights, then one of those underskirt things, this, a normal skirt, maybe my big poofy petticoat thing. My legs will eventually know what warmth is in the winter. So for now, it's going to remain a skirt. This was up here and I sewed it more closer down so I can still move my legs, because otherwise you walk like like this. So I can move my legs in it, and I just added some elastic to the top. So no one will ever have to see this except the inside of my skirt. If I don't wear it, or if it doesn't work for the purpose, then I will do something else to it and I'll let you know. But for now, I have worn it a couple of times underneath my skirts and it's very nice. So 2 mostly success stories. Let me get the third part. This is all thanks to you guys, because a couple of you gave me this suggestion and I had not thought about this at all, so thank you again. I did try to over dye this. It did not take, so the curse of this project continues. This is what the sleeves were. This is 2 sleeves seamed together and whatever you call this, knotted together. Originally, I seamed the rib parts together, trying to do as little as possible to the sleeves, but it did not work, so I had to rip that out. And it's going to be like a scarf thing, like a cowl. But last year I made, no, not last year, 2, could be even 3 at this point, I hand dyed some yarn with avocado and it was great, and it came out this beautiful pink colour. And this time it just came out like nude. It's like, it might actually be worse than beige. It might be a worse shade than what it started as. So I'm currently not ready mentally to just deal with this at the moment, so maybe next year I will scour this and then I will try to re-dye it with some like madder root, red, or whatever I have in my pot of dye stuff. I like natural dyeing, so it will be natural, whatever it is, but evidently my avocado did not work this time. So not the most flattering of shades, but again, if it's snowing and really cold, I can put this under, then I can put a scarf over top and I will be very warm. And I figured if it rains, then I've still got the option of like a hood. Just to, I mean, I look silly, but it could be warm and practical. So technically it was successful. When this is a different colour, it will be a lot more successful. I just don't want to deal with that right now. I think the most annoying thing is that it's not even evenly taken dye. I've just got this like smeary bits. It's like the most failed dye experiment so far. Don't know why. Blaming the yarn. But we have 3 finished objects out of the failed dress. So thank you again for your tips. What do you think? Would you have done the same? Are you impressed? I am really happy actually with how this one turned out, because I am so proud of this colourwork and I think I can cope with the beige over time. I won't make more beige things, but having one I can cope with. I do have another finished object, but I'm going to hold it back until I think Sunday on first Advent, if I manage to put out a video. It's Christmas themed, so I think it would be fun to do a separate video on it. So that will bring us on to works in progress. I have only got one work in progress at the moment. I keep planning to cast on 2 other things and then I distract myself and don't get around to it. So hopefully by my next video those 2 things will be cast on because I need them. I need them in my life. One is going to be the hot chocolate socks because a very lovely person, don't know if you want me to say who you are, so you know who you are, thank you very much, gifted me the pattern, the Stone Knits hot chocolate pattern. So I'm going to cast on those and I'm very excited. Then I have my Jul sweater. Now, I believe it was my last episode. I was all in a twiddle, all in a, oh, I don't know what to do situation. I've now decided I will stick with the original plan and I'm going to knit that jumper in my Swedish wool. I don't know, I got all in a overthinking, melting puddle of doom, but it's all fine. I'm gonna do it anyway. I think because I was a bit about the warmth of it and the sleeves, but actually the jumper that I will show you in a moment will probably not be enough yarn. We'll probably not have enough yarn to make 2 long sleeves as planned. So this will be a short sleeved, so then it'll be okay to make the Jul sweater a long sleeved. Because I did check, I mentioned last time that I had planned to make the Jul jumper originally as a t-shirt with some silk merino, but I did a test swatch on my knitting machine because I thought I might do the body on my machine and hand knit all the top part. But the gauge is really small, like 9 stitches, and I'm pretty sure the pattern needs 6 stitches in 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch. So that one's definitely out, but the Tunt garn from Ulcentrum, that one hits gauge, so we're doing it, we're going for it. And lots of you helped me out with my colour choice because I was humming and hawing about that as well, so thank you. I will be taking everything you said on board and taking the green, the dark green, instead of the leftover Shetland one. So all Swedish wool will be turned into that jumper. When I cast it on, which I really have to do, it's nearly December and I'm still procrastinating with other crafting adventures. So let me show you. I did tell you about this jumper, but I didn't show you anything because I wanted to show you it in all its glory. But this was about 3 weeks ago and I thought I would be like, body would be done by now, I'd be starting on the sleeves, but no, I got a little bit distracted with a different vintage make and it may have absorbed most of my time on top of this, fixing this, because this also took a lot of my brain power, having to take off sleeves, adjusting the neckline. Sorry, jumping backwards and forwards, but I forgot to mention that this neckline was really wide and I used the crochet method where I went in on at the top on this part here. I went along with crochet hook and that brought the neckline in. So thank you to everyone on Instagram who helped me out there because I really wasn't sure. I was going to do it on the inside as well, but it brought it in enough on the top of it, so I'm sticking with that. Yeah, I don't know that there was anything else I needed to add about this. So let me show you. I wanted this to be shown so that you could guess what it was, but I have not got very far. I I wanted to steam it a little bit so you might get a better idea of what it is, but I'm gonna let you guess. So let me know in the comments if you can guess what this is. And I can see a drop stitch, and that's really annoying. Any ideas? Can you tell what it is? I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure that when I block it, the stitches will even out and it'll look a bit neater. I do also have quite a few ladder back jacquard stitches which are muddling a little bit with the visual, so you can see, but you can see my ladder back here. So this is the back, and this part's the front. I am really excited about this, but for some reason it's like I'm so excited that I can't even work on it. I don't know what it is. I really want this done in time for Christmas, but I then got distracted by other Christmas things, and for some reason, probably because that was on my knitting machine, I thought that would be faster, so I will definitely get that done in time for Christmas. Whereas this one, I don't know if I will. I'm sort of making up the general construction of it, and I haven't really decided what I'm doing. I did want to do long sleeves, but I don't think I'll have enough yarn. I also wanted to do some fancy rib, but I'm not convinced that 3 inches of ribbing in this fancy way and then also on the sleeves is going to be done in time for Christmas, and I don't know that I need it. I just thought about it, so I might not do that fancy ribbing, unsure. I wanted originally to make this more like a drop shoulder construction, but again I don't think I'm going to have enough yarn to make it wide enough and to get sleeves. So it might be more of a vintage style, set in sleeves perhaps. I'm currently struggling quite a lot with the sleeve situation, and I'm not sure I'm really up for this challenge, but I'll decide once I have done the colour work on the body and I'm splitting for the sleeves. I'm going to decide at that point whether I think I'll turn it into set sleeve vintage or into a more of a words just left my brain. The other one, drop shoulder. I've seen a vintage knitting, not vintage, I've seen a, wow, brain has just turned off. Hang on, I'll get some tea and then maybe my brain will start working. I saw a YouTube video where somebody's using a flatbed knitting machine. Theirs is modern and they do all kinds of crazy complicated stuff on it, but the general basics I can do, and she's got a pattern for this drop shoulder, and it uses some short rows for the shoulders here and for the neckline, and I'm very intrigued. So although I can't follow her exact tutorial because it doesn't work the same as my machine, I'd like to give it a go. So I'm going to see how this looks and how much yarn I have left, and then I might try that because I think it should look good. Yeah, I'm so excited about this. It's taking me longer than I expected. I'm not sure why. I thought it would be faster, but it takes me, depending on the row, 10 to 15 minutes per round, and so I only, if I look at my sheet, my notes here, I'm managing about 4 rows a day. But I only started after, I did 3 weeks ago, I started this, and I only picked it up today and yesterday, and I've had 2 weeks not knitting on it. So it's not coming along that fast, but I'm hoping that once I've passed this main colourwork section, I've just got about, I'd say maybe 20 rows of the colourwork, and then I'm wondering how to change it. If I should keep this lice stitch going all the way up, or if I just gently let it go, and so that it'd be plain on the top, and then it would be easier. And if the time is really running out, I could then put just a plain stockinette knitting onto my machine and finish it off like that. But I don't know, I'm just gonna see. I'm just having fun. I love doing colourwork, I love creating stuff out of thin air. The chart I took from somewhere else, and next time, if you guys haven't guessed it in the comments, next time I will tell you what it is. The chart I got, I did not make up because I'm not that intelligent, but I'm very happy with how it's going, and I really hope that if I do add it onto my machine, I don't get a huge line across it, but it might not be so obvious in the rustic Swedish wool versus a slippery alpaca. So I've done it before where I've done lace and then added it to my knitting machine and knit it up, so hopefully it won't be a problem if I do that. And what else? This is the Campus wool 2-ply from Sweden. I bought it in Stockholm when I went there in April. I originally bought this wool to make the forest berry skirt, but honestly I don't know how 3 balls is supposed to be enough for that whole skirt. I've looked at the pattern, not many people have made it, and I don't think my gauge would be the same as hers, so I do still intend to make that skirt or a version of it, but I don't believe that this yarn there would be enough. Even though that's how much she says to use, I just can't comprehend that a full length skirt I could get out of 3 balls. So I decided it's going to be a Christmas jumper, and then I will try with another. Maybe I'll buy 4 balls of yarn next time to make the skirt and not 3. And this other one, this white one, is the Ulcentrum 2-ply. What else? Yeah, the techniques I am doing, I'm catching floats, and I believe I'm not a Norwegian float catcher. I don't do this dominant colour dominance thing. I don't really understand it. I don't really want to understand it. I just do it the way that came to me naturally and how I like that it looks. And then recently I watched a video by Arnie and Carlos, and yeah, apparently that's the Norwegian way of doing it. So I catch my floats like that and hold my yarns in different ways depending. And I'm also doing the ladderback jacquard because I did not want to be catching all the floats in the same places constantly throughout these white sections. So that technique I heard about several times, but then when I tried to do it I didn't understand. Then I watched Skendir. She did a tutorial maybe 10 years ago, 7 years ago, I can't remember, quite a while ago. She did a tutorial about it. I think it didn't actually mention the word ladderback jacquard, but that is the technique she did, and it's been great. I really like it. It's really helped. It's very clever. You essentially have an extra stitch, like a purl stitch, that sits in the back of your work. So you knit it and it makes a ladder down the back of your work, and you don't see it at the front. but it means you don't have to catch the float constantly and you often get the green popping out through the white if you catch it too often or in the same place. And seeing as there's only this one section, I can catch them. Not very many places. So I really like this technique. It's on a provisional, I provisionally cast on so I could do the rib later. But it is really annoying having this faffing around. So I might end up having to do the rib before I finish the whole body because it's driving me slightly crazy. Anything else? I think that's it. I'll give you one more look so you can get another guess. And then I really want to know if you can see, if you can tell. Okay, that's all you're getting. Till next time. I'm pretty sure that last time I showed you the wool that I got with my mum. That's the wool, the West Yorkshire Spinners Yuletide to make the socks. So I definitely want to cast those on. What else? Oh, I wouldn't say acquisitions exactly, although there is. Okay, calm down, Emily. Calm down. We're going to move on now to awesome things that have entered my life through vintage finds, street finds, to vintage thrift store finds in Sweden, to lovely, lovely humans on the internet who I've met, gifts and some wool. So it's kind of like acquisitions, but it's more like exciting things in my life that I want to show you now. So my lovely, lovely friend Miranda in Sweden, she sent me something super cool because I saw this on their equivalent of eBay and my heart, every cell in my body was in love with this. So she lovingly purchased it for me on my behalf because I try to buy, I'm so excited, I can't talk. I tried to buy stuff on their eBay equivalent, but because I don't live there and I don't have a Swedish address, they wouldn't let me buy anything. So Miranda lovingly bought it for me. I am so in love with this. If you have watched my channel probably for the last, I'd say 2 years, you'll know not only am I obsessed with Sweden, but I love these Swedish like gnomes, Scandinavian, they have them in Finland and Norway. They're gnomes, Nisse, Tomter, and I don't know what it is, I love this whole thing around putting rice porridge out for the gnomes at Christmas so that they will look after your home and garden and farm instead of being naughty and making a mayhem out of it. And I just love them. So this is also tickling my whistle because it's got embroidery and I adore vintage embroidery. If you walk around my house, you'll see quite a lot of it. My nan made a lot of cross stitch, so I've got a lot of her stuff, and then on my travels to Sweden I have picked up some Swedish embroidered I want to say tablecloths, but that's a bit extreme. It's not like a whole tablecloth, like placemats, that kind of thing. Anyway, I really should take a breather. You'll have to forgive me if I get this wrong because I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure when I Google translated the description that these patterns are all from real life embroideries that they have found that are in some museums. There's some in Skansen in Stockholm, and they're from around 1800 to 1920, 1930. So they're all vintage, and they give you some patterns for whichever ones that they found. So they show you the original one that they have, and then they give you the chart. Or if it's not a cross stitch, if it's an embroidery, they'll tell you, like this front one here, they'll say this is the life-size version, just trace this out on paper, put it onto your embroidery fabric, and then use, for example, satin stitch to fill it in. So it's really cool, and this is one I want to do so badly. I just have to relearn my embroidery skills. I have done some embroidery, so I have high hopes that I will be able to do it, but if I can make this, I will, I don't know, I'll be so impressed with myself. This is my life goal at the moment. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by these gnomes or tomta. I don't really know what to call them. I don't know why I'm so obsessed, but I am, and I just love the images of them. So yeah, I have tried to record this section 3 times. I'm so excited that I can't formulate actual sentences. So I'm going to stop, move on, and I'll update you whenever I start embroidering anything. This will just be brief because I don't want to take all of them out of the bag. But last week I was on my normal walk around the neighbourhood, and I came across a paper box, or a cardboard box one might say, a cardboard box filled with all of these paper pamphlets, magazine-y things, and they were soaking wet because it had been raining. So I pulled out a whole bunch of these from this box, brought them home, laid them out across my floor, and then hoped and prayed that they would dry, the ink wouldn't have run, and the pages wouldn't all stick together. And I'm very pleased to update you that they have survived. And I thought that they were all crochet, and I'm so excited because they're knitting. They're knitting books from the DDR, but I'm not sure what era. I'm thinking 60s, but this is just one example because I don't want to get them all out. But they're all different types of table covers. I really wish I had words. Tischdecke. Like, not a tablecloth, but kind of a tablecloth. And then also ones just to put your, like, a plant on top of or something. And I thought they were all crocheted, but they are. I've got 3 books that are crochet, but about 20 of these, and they have 3 patterns each. And then 2 of them are cross stitch. And one can use cross stitch charts for knitting. So this brings me so much joy. So I'm absolutely going to be making something knitting related using some of these charts. This brings me so much joy, I have to calm down. And there's also this one. I haven't really opened it up very much, but so they're exciting. I'm excited. that is what has entered my life. I will actually round off this video very, very soon because my throat is sore. Shocking, I know. And I will save the other little bits for later because then I can talk more in depth. I just wanted to do a little small life chat, very small, because some of you are interested in my German learnings and I figured that here was a good place to put it. I will just leave you on a positive German note because usually I'm complaining about my lack of German and stress of German, but I've discovered something and I'm very impressed. Very impressed with myself right now, so I'm going to pat myself on the back and announce it to the world. I discovered audiobooks. I know I'm a bit late. I'd never really put much thought into audiobooks before. I knew of their existence, but that was as far as it went. And then I got a suggestion on YouTube to listen to Sherlock Holmes. And I did, and it was great. So then I thought, maybe there's German ones. Because I've been really struggling to listen to German podcasts. Because a mixture of things. Mostly I'm not interested in what they're knitting, the people that I'm recommended. So it makes it hard to sit and listen because I'm not really interested in what they're knitting or the yarn they're using. I would love to have vintage knitting German YouTube to watch, that would be great. But typically I haven't come across any, but if you know of any that you think would be up my alley, please let me know in the comments or on Instagram because I'd love to listen to some more German YouTubers. I just haven't found many that I connect with. Anyway, I joined the library, Berlin Library, and I found that they have audiobooks on there. So I have been listening to some Agatha Christie. And I feel so excited because I have been struggling with German for a long time and I keep trying all the things, but none of it's really worked, none of it's really clicked. And I have discovered that I'm more of a passive learner. So if I try and actively sit down and learn, it doesn't go in. I have two notebooks, like A4 notebooks, that are almost identical because I sat down and I wrote down everything that I was trying to learn, following workbooks and stuff. And then I had two books that are almost identical because I had no memory of ever having learned any of it. And I've tried reading books, but I get so frustrated because I have to look up the words constantly, and then I've lost like the motivation, any joy in reading. Movies, I found that I was watching and you can just guess through the context what's happening. Like, oh, she's really angry, or he's really happy and he's gonna do this thing. But you don't need the language, you can just see what's happening. So I found that wasn't really working. And talking doesn't work at all because I'm so stressed and so I don't have enough words or vocabulary. I can't do it, so then it just doesn't work. And it's not that I'm nervous or scared to talk, I just don't have the words to do it. So then I get angry, so that doesn't work. But now I've discovered audiobooks. And originally I sat there with the audiobook and listened, like sat and listened. And that was stressful because I didn't understand. And then I discovered knitting and audiobooks. So the knitting takes on one part of my brain, like it activates and sorts that section out, so the trying to figure out and understand section of my brain is content. And then the passive side of my brain is just listening to German. And I was able to understand enough of the book, like 70% of the book, and I didn't have to look up words because they just keep talking and then you put things together and you understand what they mean. And I even managed to guess who the murderer was in the book. So I understood enough of the characters and what was happening to know. So I just feel very impressed with myself and I'm going to share it on the internet because it's one of the biggest accomplishments in my German so far, is to get through a German book and know what happened. I also listened to 2 other books, and if someone had paused it and asked what was going on, I could have told them. So yeah, I'm feeling very, very impressed with myself right now. And that's a first for a long time with German. So let's end this knitting chat on that, shall we? Okay, I will stop rabbiting now. I think I will give you more updates throughout December. Don't think I'll be doing Vlogmas this year because it never really does very well on my channel, and then YouTube's like, oh, no one wants to watch this, we won't show any of your videos. So I probably won't, but the temptation is always there, so I might do like one every Advent or some kind of update. I'm not sure, but would you be interested, or are you just overwhelmed with all the content that comes out in December? Because I understand there is a lot. I'm definitely looking forward to several people's vlogmy this year. I know that Finnish Knitting Stories is planning to do it, and I love watching her vlogmas. I don't know why, but it's just the most comforting thing when I hear that music at the beginning and then settle in for Vlogmas with Jana. And Anne from hang on. And Anne from My North Knit Corner. Oh gosh, I watch her videos all the time, and yet title has just completely gone pfft. I'll put her here. She's doing Vlogmas this year, and I also find very exciting because she's from Norway, and I love seeing different traditions and how people prepare for Christmas. And Anna one day I will either stop trying to say her name, or I might even succeed in pronouncing it. Anna Huesvard. She's also doing Vlogmas for the first time this year, so I'm looking forward to that. So lots of people I'm looking forward to watching. So I don't know if I'll actually do any or not, but I hope I'll add something to the mix, add some kind of festive update. Maybe I will get one of these jumpers that I've planned done. I think I'll finish up here. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, then please consider liking and subscribing. Leave a comment, it always helps with the algorithm, because you know, the algorithm is the bane of YouTubers' life. If you want to follow me, I'm over on Instagram. I'm also emilykatemadethis, and I'm also there on Coffee and Ravelry. I think that is everything. So thank you for watching, and I will see you hopefully very soon in December. Bye!